What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome, welcome. It's another episode of the Collegiate Esports Talk Show. Hi, I'm Coach Antor. Excited to have you all here. Everything looks to be going well. We'll get some background music here so the quiet times are not quiet and awkward. Just bring that down just a tad bit. This week I have a headset mic because I left my Blue Yeti on campus after streaming and casting over there. But how's everybody doing? It's kind of a late moment to get everything in. Connor making money off me watching ads about poodles. Oh, sorry. Dang. Lugnuts made it this week. Everyone be like Lugnuts and put this into your calendar so you never miss it. I love that. Just headphone mic. I know, completely unacceptable. I don't even know what it sounds like, but I'm sure it sounds terrible. But we're here. We're family. That's what we're doing. We're just chilling. Had a late tweet today. No teaser. Had Connor JM was visiting campus from Michigan, or Connor was, and it was a good time. So, yeah. Drove him back to the airport today and just got back like 5-10 minutes ago. Sounds great. Good. Good. How's everybody else doing? Any exciting things going on in your programs? I'm going to send one message here while we wait for a couple stragglers. You're supposed to board in 5 minutes. People are just getting off my plane. Ooh. They'll turn around quick. Be all good. What's up? Tampa airport departures might be the most genius thing I've ever witnessed. I don't know about like spring break, but it was so convenient. Nice. That's cool. What's up, boss? What up, Hell on Pause? How's it going? I did. I appreciated your pose, and I appreciate you tagging me in the tweet, paying homage to the esports coach pose. It's official. It's a required. We're going to be talking today about varsity-only leagues, and I think it's going to be a pretty interesting topic to discuss. I know we usually have a lot of club leaders in the chat. I haven't seen any of them yet, but I'm sure they'll straggle in here, and we'll have some good conversation. Sparking mainly from a tweet from Doc Haskell yesterday. It is the fidget spinner. The fidget spinner. I'm trying it out again. Yeah. Thought it'd be cool. I like playing with stuff, so I also got this other little thingy-majig that's got like a joystick on it, uh, some buttons, turny wheels, but this is a lot of fun. So tried a couple of these fidget toy things while I'm just sitting on calls. I get bored. You too comfort in the spinner? It's good. Good. Oh, how was the first couple weeks? 2 weeks? Is this the second week? How's the program going? How is it going in general? Give us the update. Give us the Indiana University East update. While you write up that update, I'm just chilling. It was a little dark in my room, so I pulled out the ring light finally. I think this might be the first stream using the ring light. It might be a little harsh. Maybe a little harsh. Yeah, that's better, probably. I don't know. I'm not a lighting expert. I'm using a headset mic, for goodness sakes. I'm split in between worlds right now. My team is full of on-campus club kids transitioning into varsity recruited program. I'm kind of in the same boat there with you. Hell on pause. Before I got here, there was a head coach, but it seemed the expectations were more aligned with a student-ran club, if you will, than what I believe is a varsity program and the expectations of that. So I'm definitely working through some of those same headaches, because it definitely is some headaches. Resetting expectations is a process, but you'll get there. Um, and depending on how many resources you get from your campus and support, it can make the process a lot more difficult or easier, depending. Um, my calendar was absolutely crazy. The last 2 days, my calendar's been insane. There he is. There's some club leadership. What up, Mega? Hello, Mr. Antor. Is that an attempt at entering in skeptical of the conversation today? Is this the moment where the club leaders begin to hate Coach Antor? I don't think it is. I think we're all kind of in the same situation, or I think we'll align with a lot of stuff. Did you watch and or take part in the Battle for Florida event? We did. We played in the qualifier. Didn't go well. I did not watch the finals. Wonder how it went though. I would love to hear the update. I was also not. I might have been invited at some point, but don't remember. They did like an esports summit at USF that was tied with that finals. That I was not. Maybe like I said, maybe I was invited to it once, but I don't remember signing up. That I just didn't attend. I was busy that day, but if I knew in advance, I probably would have gone. They did like their business school at USF did like a esports summit with some speakers. Um, yeah, it's only like an hour away. But by the time like I realized it was that day, I was didn't even think about it. Um, yeah. But did you guys play in Battle for Florida? I think you guys played in Battle for Florida, but how did you do? I'm really bad at keeping track of some of that stuff. Well, yes, you did. How did it go? We made finals. Oh, that's pretty awesome. Lost to UCF. Okay. Did you guys make CRL? Hopefully that isn't a tough topic. I know Florida made it. I know USF and UCF made it. But I wondered if FSU made it. We have a lot of like Rocket League in Florida is pretty close, if not better than Michigan. In my opinion, not yet. Duh. Any reason why college programs don't stream on YouTube when it would be easier to consolidate their content funnel to one platform? Um, Viewership in the live space still in esports kind of still lives on Twitch. Um, and a lot of these programs at the varsity level, specifically like you look at Aquinas or Florida Southern, is as members of NACE, we get a partnership through Twitch, which is beneficial in itself. But when you sign a partnership agreement with Twitch, you agree not to stream on other platforms. So you basically are contractually obligated, if you want to keep your partner status on Twitch, to only stream on Twitch. I don't think it doesn't prevent you from uploading VODs to YouTube after, but the live stuff is on Twitch. Mega says we beat USF and UF in battle, but haven't qualified to CRL yet. Well, that stinks. It's unfortunate. Thank you for following, Old Man Henson. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the support everyone's given me. It's been fun. All the Twitch Prime subs, all the follows, all the tweets. It's been an exciting couple months. I don't know, when did we first start these episodes? Before we hop into the real business here, let's do some small talk. We started on November 9th. Was my first one. So November, December, January. So we've been doing this for about 3 months. This topic is relevant to me. I sponsor a club. There you go. Nice. This will be fascinating to you. Hopefully or not. Yeah. Well, should we get started? Let's hop in this. Today we are talking about varsity-only leagues. Are they needed? Do they prevent clubs from gaining good opportunities to sell the idea of esports to their admins? Those are the questions we're going to be talking about today on the Collegiate Esports Talk Show. All right, that's going to be like my intro, probably. So, boom. My intro for my YouTube VOD, my YouTube video later. But no, seriously, let's talk about varsity-only leagues. You'll have to leave a bit early. I'm going to a seminar for the Russian department at 6. That sounds intense. Dang. Do they speak only in Russian in this seminar? That'd be a lot. That would be a lot. Why do I have this weird GIF from G4 TV on my Twitter? Let's just close Twitter. We don't need to be on Twitter. All the cool people are in this room. Look at that rainy Florida weather. True. Okay, you caught us. You caught us. It's like 60 degrees and rainy. You caught us in our winter. The jive is up. It's gross. Put that one on Twitter. Nah, we'll wait until next week when it's 80, and then I'll post a picture of the palm tree in my front yard. No, it's just a Russian history and politics. It do be raining a lot recently. It do be raining a lot. It do be getting a little chilly, too. Which is not what I signed up for. So maybe me and Megan need to have a chat here. Get this whole weather thing situated, figured out. Because it's February and I'm expecting sun. It's February in Florida. Was the location a big plus for you when you decided to move? Honestly, location had nothing to do with it. It was the support from the administration that excited me. And then the salary was a pretty decent increase. So, no, I don't think we were complaining about Florida, but it wasn't a deciding factor. And I don't know if it was a big plus. But I ain't complaining. All right. Cost of living is pretty cheap though. I'm in a city where the cost of living is about the same as Grand Rapids, where I was in Michigan. I think everything is roughly the same. So it is what it is. Um, yeah. It's 46 here in Minnesota, heat wave. Yeah, compared to like the negative 20 you had last week, 46 is tropical weather. Shoot. That snow's going to start melting. Salary bump plus same cost of living equals overall W. Yes, it does. That is the math. That is how it worked. Although we bought a more expensive house, so take it as you will. And moving is not cheap. The act of moving is expensive. Full transparency, very expensive. Next place I go, if I decide to go to another job, the cost of moving will be a required negotiation in my package to convince me to move. Because we're talking like 10 grand like in moving expenses, which is just crazy. But like I said, I love it. It's good. So varsity. Wait, did Southern not reimburse or anything? No, it was not a part of my negotiation. So, and I think I never brought it up. It's never been talked about. So no, that was not. The moving expenses were not a part of that, unfortunately. I'm not a very good negotiator in a lot of regards. I did negotiate my salary pretty hard though. But nothing beyond that. Yeah. So varsity-only leagues. So let's look at some of the varsity-only leagues we got out there. We got like something like the ECAC. We got NECC, NACE to an extent in the past. Most of these varsity-only leagues are hidden behind some type of paywall or membership, and I don't even know if they're varsity only. It's just like they have a pay or an expense to be a part of it, and mostly varsity programs are the only ones who could pay for that. Oh, here we go. Mega's got the first take on the varsity versus club. Varsity versus club. Clubs are looking for leagues that are A, competitive and fun for teams, and B, prizes to compete for. However, the admins at the big state schools like FSU like to see their teams playing versus other big state schools, Power 5 schools. So for them, the varsity versus clubs bid is only a problem if it limits our ability to play versus other Power 5 schools. Yeah, so here's the crux of the argument, and I think it can be solved in like 5 minutes. Most varsity teams, now this won't be all, but most do not care about prizing. I think most of them see playing big state schools as a plus, but not completely necessary. I think it's cool, like when my athletic director saw that we beat Michigan State or Ohio State. Like, that's a pretty cool thing to tweet out. Those are the ones I retweet, because obviously I love beating D1 schools. But not a necessary thing. Varsity programs are mainly looking for leagues that have teams that value the same things that varsity teams value or they value. And when I'm talking about that, it's communication, showing up to matches, being logical, civil, mature, having somebody who's usually an adult or a very mature captain to reach out to and have conversations and work through issues with. Those are what most varsity teams value when they talk about leagues. Club teams, on the other hand, like what you said, Mega, is they want prize pools, they want to be in the most competitive leagues, and they want to play their other big schools. Like, I get that. You want to be that. Clubs don't want to be pushed out of main leagues because they're a club, which I agree with. For the varsity side of things, they're not. I mean, most varsity programs do participate in the developer leagues, but the experiences we have in those varsity leagues or those developer leagues that include, or the experiences that we run into pretty regularly with club teams, makes it not a great experience for us or our players. And there's so many examples where I'm dealing with a student from a club program, and they just don't see collegiate esports in the same vein as I do. For them, it's an extracurricular activity that they just do for fun. For me, it's my full-time job, and for my players, it's what they're getting scholarship for. It's their athletic team. It's similar to a basketball team on at your campus. Like, we expect a certain level of professionalism that just isn't met as often when we talk about club teams. And that's where Doc's message comes from, and which I agree with. Looks like the values seem universal to an extent. I mean, you would not believe, coming from the club side, I guess, it's like pretty normal to me, but varsity programs, for the most part, do not care about prize pools. They don't care about prize pools. They want a good experience. Mega says agreed, but clubs are more inconsistent in implementing those values. It's true. That is true. I think, but also we need to realize that when we look at like your club, Mega, at Florida State, we look at the club at like Ohio State, the club at Illinois, the club at what else? Michigan State to an extent. They're very well ran clubs, and they are usually the clubs we don't have problems with. It's the 92% of other clubs that we often have problems with. And that, I think, that's where it is. What? Who? Okay. Is the issue that you feel disrespected when interacting with these students, or is it that issues are difficult to resolve? I don't really care if a student respects me or not. It's the issues getting resolved in a mature way with emotions not the most important piece of it all, if that makes sense. And it's the same experience that I have in leagues that are ran by students. I mean, it's the same. There's some of the same frustrations that I have. There's a lot of recent talk about the CR6, a Collegiate Rainbow Six League that's ran by mostly students, and some really, really poorly ran communication and decision making happening. I got to catch up on this real quick. Lunge says Varsity-Only leagues hurt clubs from a participation standpoint, and that does hurt students who are unable to access competition, whether or not this would impact D1s. Boulder. Seems like the clubs that people don't have problems with are Tier 1 unis. To an extent, yes. What's up, friend? GM play versus Turbo. Hey, man. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, y'all connecting. He won't fly you out this week. What is going on? Clubs always fluctuate. That is very true. I mean, one year they have a really mature, great leader in place, and then the next year it just falls apart. It's crazy how much that happens. What up, Chew? Chew's in chat. But it's almost like we have varsity basketball teams playing against intramural teams. And yes, well, or I mean even closer maybe to an extent, is a club team from a D1 is playing your varsity team from a D3. Yes, that D1 club team might beat the D3's team, but the experience is not the same level of having two D3s play each other. And I think that's where the concern lies currently. Pathfinder says, I've heard some crazy stories from clubs lacking integrity, no-shows, hacking, etc., which can be a challenging issue for other programs to deal with. Could that be a part of the issue? It absolutely is a part of the issue. The no-shows, I think, is a big thing. But what's interesting is NACE Star League did their varsity league and then opened it up to affiliates, who a good chunk of those affiliates would be registered as club programs in most regards. And half the no-shows came from members of NACE, and the other half came from the affiliates. So in the NACE Varsity League in particular, the story of all the no-shows being non-varsity teams is just inaccurate. But we don't have a way to keep track of the other headaches that club teams have brought. And for me, it's not like an every occurrence against club teams, but when I have a significant issue with another team, probably 2 or 3 times a semester, it's usually always a club team. The varsity side of things, I have a staff member that I can talk with and work out issues with. We don't have to involve students. And those often get resolved easier and cleaner than with a student. Yeah. The FSU club has had highs and lows in terms of consistency over the past 10 years. At our low point, the club nearly disbanded. At our high point, we were working with the school athletic department. That's huge. Yeah, for sure. That's definitely a struggle that clubs deal with. I saw it at Grand Valley before Chris was hired as the director. I mean, their club was in a rough place, in my opinion. Like, one year they have a great leader or exec board running things really like a tight ship, well-ran, well-oiled machine, and then the next year they all graduate, and it's a different story. So does varsity just mean there is consistency? No, varsity mainly is defined similar to how NACE defines varsity, and what they define varsity as is having dedicated staff for the program, having a dedicated space on campus, creating a path to graduate, and then recruiting new students. Those are like the 4 aspects of a varsity program according to NACE, and those specifically 3 of those 4 are what I use to define a varsity program. And the affiliate app for NACE is just a staff member signing off. Correct. It's the affiliate application was basically give us a staff member who can be responsible for the program, and oftentimes when we talk about the clubs, it was basically their club advisor who they never talk to and has no oversight into the club, and that I think brought a lot of headaches and confusion to the member schools in NACE. NACE has always also been very flexible with letting club teams that have some recognition into their leagues. They have. This year specifically with affiliates, the varsity league has been pretty open. I think that'll change for next year. How that changes, I'm not sure. I think it's interesting when we talk about the varsity teams who want to only play varsity schools. They would much rather have that than prize pools. So there is an instance, or there's a world where I see the varsity-only division being almost the second tier of NACE Star League competition. And the top league, you can call it whatever you want, elite, the elite division, that's the one with the prize pools and is open to club schools as well. I think that might be the compromise that we find with NACE Star League, in my opinion. But would love to hear people's thoughts on that side of things. If you want a prize pool and want to play against the best of the best, you go play in the elite division. If you only want to play against NACE varsity or other varsity programs who are NACE members, you play in the varsity division, which would be, if you want to put like the amount of resources in each division into a tier, it would kind of be the second tier division. Most of the broadcast would probably be with the elite division, in my opinion. When running into issues with a club team in a league, how often can you not resolve any issues through the tournament organizer? How often can you not resolve? I mean, the tournament organizer will always come up with a solution. Are those solutions what I would see as the best? Pretty often they're not, depending on who the tournament organizer is. I think CSL is an interesting place because they have full-time staff who who oversee the admins for the tournament. And one of those people is JJ Myers, who's the NACE competition manager. So there's people with like esports experience who are not students running things, but in other leagues, when you're dealing with students as admins, it can be really frustrating because some of their decisions and what they resolve to do are just they don't make sense for a varsity team. They make much more sense for club teams playing each other. Like for example, like I've been in leagues in the past where the other team can't play at the default time, and we don't want to reschedule because it's the like one time we're ready or we have that's available, and the admins force us to reschedule. Um, those are becoming more and more rare, but I mean that used to almost be a normal occurrence in leagues. Was if one team needed to reschedule, the other team had to reschedule, which is crazy to think about. But and that's still present, I think, in at least one league. I'm personally trying to cope with the club issue as I prepare to graduate. I'm thinking of writing up a doc with all my experiences and learnings. That'd be beneficial if that leadership is willing to read that document. I think the better thing is to start involving the next leadership now, and being able to kind of guide them. One of the best things that our fraternity did was we elected presidents to like the presidents of our fraternity in the fall to start in the spring, and usually the old president was graduating in the spring and would have a whole semester of like answering questions and guiding that president. Frat party, not really. We're an affiliate has strongly motivated our club teams a lot, for sure. I think the affiliate thing was really good for this year, in my opinion. None of the NACE games are our varsity games. We are just affiliates to give them options to play in them because they have money. Yeah, and I think it'll weed out a lot of programs that are only there for the money. For a lot of NACE members, they're not there for the money. They're there for an experience to compete against other varsity teams. None of the varsity level competition resonates with us. I agree. I think there's a lot of programs in the space who are only affiliates because there's money in it, and it was a pretty big league this year. ABXY, I'm not sure if I'm confused, but to me, an esports issues are 99% resolved through tournament organizers. If C9 has an issue with the match, they would go to Riot referees. To an extent, yes, but not always. I mean, usually you try to resolve it with the opponent first, and then you bring in tournament organizers. There's a lot more working with an opponent without the presence of a tournament organizer than in traditional athletics or in a pro league. When we talk about reschedules, forming lobbies, kind of just getting the game started and going and solving questions on the fly, a lot of times it's the schools kind of working together. But yes, the admins do come in a lot, or are pulled in if issues can't be resolved. But again, my experience with tournament organizers has not been positive the last 3 years in general. Because they're coming at it, getting as much info as they can in like 3 minutes and then making a call. And their call is based on the experiences they have, and none of them have started or ran a varsity program or a esports team. Like a lot of them are students who play the game. It's interesting. My only question from Sean, what happens to the club teams that don't have the talent for the elite and then obviously can't be part of the varsity group? We would have, my assumption is that a division will be present similar to what we have, either Challenger or Open, where there's like a totally open league underneath the elite division and varsity division that they could compete in. That's my guess, but who knows? That's all it's still being decided on what that looks like next fall. But also, like, again, there's like NACE obviously wants to be a big league in the space, but they're not the only league. And honestly, most people didn't care what NACE was up to until this year. So But I mean, it's a good place to be in. I want to be able to provide, as a NACE member, provide good competition. But there's a lot of options out there too, if it doesn't align. Consistent leadership sounds like the biggest point from Doc's perspective. Mature decision making and communication inside and outside of the program. Not all club or varsity programs are created equally. That is true all aboard. I mean, there are varsity programs that I don't like to deal with, so that's very true. There was a frat party incident during a CLOL match. Interesting. I don't remember that. Luckily, they had a really good sub. What the? Sean says, I'm just about inclusion, but also not inclusion for the sake of just including everyone. Yeah, I mean, the point of the affiliate application for NACE to begin with was to give an opportunity for non-members to compete in the varsity division, but the whole point was to have teams... The whole point was to have teams that were in programs that would be labeled as varsity, just not members of NACE, and then it expanded further into including more clubs than I think most of like the board of directors wanted. I think overall it was a decent move for the space just to kind of get things going, but it's changing. The affiliate process is being eliminated after this year. It was a one-year thing. But there's a ton of value in having elite competition that brings in the top club teams and provides that opportunity to win a prize pool. And I don't see CSL allowing that to go away. So what does that look like next year? I'm not sure. My guess is something like I described, where you have an elite division that's open to all teams, best of the best, or whoever wants to play, similar to what varsity is with the affiliates. And then underneath that would be a varsity-only division for those varsity teams, or a member-only division where members of NACE would be able to compete only against members of NACE. And you would crown the NACE champion in addition to the NACE Star League Elite Division champion. So how important do you think full-time esports directors and coaches are at schools that are still club structured, for example, UTD? I think UTD was a rare occurrence where Greg was semi-heavily involved. Most of the D1s that are coming in with a director of esports who are still club structured are doing close to nothing to actually support their club. I'm not going to name any names. I think most of us could probably name at least one, but that I don't think they're needed. I think right now it's just like it's like a half-butt try at supporting esports, in my opinion. They're not actually doing much. They're just, some of them are just farming interviews while their club is completely ran by their students. I know Tiza is going to have an update soon. Update on what? I will say that I do not think UTD would be a top 10 esports program if not having a full-time staffer and Greg there. That's fair. Probably a fair assessment. I think Greg was an outlier in what most people in that position do across the country. Yes, there's a chance that the leadership can be detrimental as well. Yes, exactly. Also, Physics says, I agree. I also think having a full-time staff member makes more conversations happen for resources outside of scholarships. When I was in Collegiate, we couldn't even get travel paid for until we have a coordinator. I agree if that staff member is willing to put their neck out for their club. And I'm continually reminded of some programs who have those types of directors, quote-unquote, who are not willing to stick out their neck and go to bat for their clubs. You need an adult in the room for the university to talk to. Yes, you do. But again, there's adults in the room who are farming interviews while not doing anything real substantial to help their esports clubs. he is the standard of which we could look to achieve. Yeah, I agree. To be fair, the people in that position are usually not given the resources to do what they want to do. Yes, there's probably an argument to be made there that it's not their fault, but again, talking with the students involved in some of those programs, the lack of support they're getting from those staff members begs the question that maybe it's not resources, it's the person and their willingness to fight and to stick up for and to support the club teams. So, that's the crux of the argument when we talk about varsity-only leagues, and I think the reason why I saw so many club leadership hop on Doc's tweet, clubs don't want to be left out of leagues that provide prize pools and provide exceptional experiences from a competitive standpoint and from a fun standpoint. And I think that can still be achieved. And I think but from the varsity standpoint, there's plenty of programs out there that only want to play other varsity programs. And again, I think that can be achieved as well. And like Doc said in his replies, like, put all the prize pools and all the resources you want into the club, like the open competition. Like, that's fine. We're not fighting for that. Like, varsity programs, there's a couple varsity programs who will play in that prize pool league because that's what they want. They want to be in the elite competition. But there will be plenty of other varsity programs who are only in the varsity league. NACE didn't even have prize pools the last 2 years. We had a trophy, rings, and a leather jacket, or a varsity jacket. And that's all we were playing for. And that was more than fine with us as a varsity program. Clubs get an adult, but then quickly that adult realizes they're just hired to babysit these clubs. Yeah, to an extent. Yeah. Yes and no. I guess I've seen myself as a babysitter in some of my past jobs as a coach for high school and college, but that doesn't mean I didn't try. And my students never accused me of just being a babysitter. So why are students at the college level doing that with some of their club leadership or their directors? So the university, yeah, it's basically a buffer between the student club and the admins. Like, I get that. My boss was put in place my boss's job at Aquinas was basically a buffer between me and the athletic director. And that's how he operated. It's like, let's listen to Adam complain and then he'll go away. But that didn't really solve anything. Physics says it can be seen as a babysitter, but you can set the framework for what program can be if you do it strategically and don't come in the door like, hey, I want scholarships. Agreed. For sure. It doesn't mean, no one's asking you to barge into the president's office and demand scholarships day one. But I think there's a level of expectation if you're going to be labeled as the director of esports or the assistant director of esports that you're going to support your students in the club to some extent and to go to bat for them. They get invited to a LAN and they need $500 in gas money. Like, there's an expectation that you're going to go try to get that. Or there's an expectation that the club president, who's a student unpaid, isn't going to be working 80 hours a week to try to organize all these club teams. Pathfinder says, does Nick Saban not know the game of football? They should hire folks that have leadership skills and game knowledge. Yes, they should. Speaking of the choir there, but yeah. A lot of these D1s are internal hires within their departments. And we're seeing at the high school level where, and to an extent in varsity programs where with internal hires, it's like, we know this guy in IT and he games a lot. He'd be great for the esports coach. And then they hire him for the esports coach or her as the esports coach or director. and like their extent of knowledge is, yeah, I played World of Warcraft the last 15 years, or I played Counter-Strike Source back in '01. I deserve, or I should be hired as the esports director. Yeah. LMFAO, chill. Sorry, am I attacking you personally? I'm sorry, physics. But, like, we're not at D1's physics. Am I ripping on CS Source? No, not at all. But you'd think, like, D1s who are hiring people would require a little bit higher standards in the experience column than that. In the future, though. Yeah, for sure. That's the goal. Goal's big D1 contract at some point. For sure. Okay, you have to run. Hey, have fun at your Russian seminar. Appreciate you stopping by, Mega. Wah, wah, wah. Fellow Floridian Mega Blaziken. Yeah. Florida, ew. Okay. I'd say something, but I don't even know where you're living at this point, Sean. If I'm being honest. Neither do I. Good. All right. Cool. We're in the same boat. Or do I? Yeah. Fair. Oh, that's funny. How's everybody's CLOL teams doing? Physics, you got a CLOL team this year? I'm still in Arizona. I don't claim it, though. I wouldn't either. Are you in Phoenix? What pair to... Mine is undefeated. I'm jobless. Yes, sir. We're in MEC. Oh, nice. Grandview. Grandview's the big team in MEC, isn't it? Who else is in MEC that's strong this year? I'd go to Florida right now. Snow is overrated. True. University of Cincinnati. What's up, Chris? I'm guessing that's Chris. It's us in Grandview and then Poop. Fair. Have you played Grandview yet? Grandview and ONU. Oh, snap. Snap. We got smoked by GV. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, ONU should be pretty decent, I thought. Troy Shafari over at ONU. Recruiting extraordinaire. My epic team college team. Oh man. Atmosphere. What's that about? What's that? I was so fascinated to see how many seeds that ECAC was getting. That threw me off. I'm also kind of thrown off because Peach Belt had 2 seeds last year, for some unknown reason, to be honest. But now they only have 1. And then Converse joined, and now I'm like, cool. ECAC, yeah, ECAC has 3 seeds. Now they have who do they have in ECAC? They have ECAC has 4 seeds. No wait, points. 2. All right, they have 2 seeds. I lied. They have 2 into the quarters. Did they update bids? NECC has 2. Oh wait, maybe it's not ECAC. ECC has 2, which is the MAC. Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference has 1. Mountain West has 1. Are these in addition to their 1 though? Wait a second. NECC selection committee will have 7 spots, which is way more than last year. Where are the rules? Can everybody pull up the rules? NJCAA, which have been fine since it's all community college, is in St. Clair. Pull it up on the big screen. Yeah, okay, let me find it. School listing by conferences. Where is... We looked at this the last time, I think. The day you've been waiting for. I'll pull up rules too. RSAA Riot. Let's talk College League of Legends. Championship format. Oh, they didn't update the rule set with this. Let's see. Where's my screen here? Screen and webcam. There we go. This is... So these are the... things. Where... What are points? How do I read this? How do I even read this? What the heck? Forgot it's Tuesday. Yeah, I saw you called me. Wait, hold on. Okay, these points are points related to... Where... Like, I'm trying to figure out in the rule set where this is. RSAA. News. 1 gets 4. 4! No, that can't be true. That can't be true. You're lying. Lies. Sean lies. Okay, here's the conference rank. Okay. It's right here. So how many bursts you get? So first, if we look at this, we're going to put this there. That's there. Conference qualification. So first, which is North, will have 4 berths. South and East will have 3. Fourth will have 2. So West has 2 berths, and then everyone else has 1. One gets 4, North gets 4. It's a little confusing. It is confusing. I'm confused. I thought ECAC had multiple. But NECC is the one that will get 1 berth? That doesn't make sense. I thought they said they get more. The inherited championship points have been updated to match. Not receive automatic berths. The 2 extra championship spots will go to that. Okay, so maybe it is like nothing changed. But they were... The NECC was very close to getting the West's too. I thought NECC had multiple too. Yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe they moved up in groups. Landmark had 2 berths last year. They had 3 teams. Yeah, I know. There was some messed up stuff. So it looks like they basically lowered the amount of berths you had. Yeah, so here's the... Yeah, so the WAC NECC only has 1 in this. I guess it wasn't... I guess there was no changes? That's why selection committee gets 7. Yeah. So it looks like... So this was not updated yet, but I don't think it changes much. Maybe it changes some of the seating, these default seating groups, but it doesn't change the amount of berths, I don't think. North, South, East, West. It just basically changed. Like it took 1 point from south, put it down. Took a point from east, put it down. West down. NECC was the closest to getting a second berth. Lowest seed entering playoffs. I think they adjusted that to avoid Bates State playing Maryville. Ah, that kind of makes sense. Okay. Yeah, some of this is so interesting to me. ECAC is an interesting one. Actually, ECAC isn't as strong as I thought it was. I thought it was a lot stronger. I thought somebody told me maybe that a new team went into ECAC. But maybe that's NECC. NECC has Bay State and Columbia College. They also have UBC Premier. And you said Ottawa, or this is the other Ottawa is in there. NJCAA, yeah, you have St. Clair. Interesting. Peach Belt. Gosh darn it. They add Converse in the Peach Belt. Who is ECAC? Here, I'll pull it over. ECAC is RPI, Delaware, Oakland. This isn't a very strong conference, at least from a solid rank perception or perspective. You think it's RPI? I haven't seen much of RPI. I wouldn't be surprised if Oakland came out with this win. I think ECAC is one of the weakest in terms of, East Coast. Hello. Big Sky. Even hello or more. There's a couple weak ones in here. But most of them have like a decent team. Like NJCAA has St. Clair, NECC, Bay State, and Columbia. That's a tough conference. Like if you're one of these schools, you're like, why am I even in this conference? Go try your luck in the regional. Big Sky and Landmark. I don't know. I think they took Landmark is bad, but I think they took their I don't think Landmark has a seat anymore. Landmark and WCC will not receive an automatic bid. Oh yeah, see they only have 3. WAC has Aquinas, but that's kind of the strength. PAC-U is pretty strong. But yeah, if you're my question here is if you're Bay State. Columbia is a very different team than it once was, and maybe that's why. But why, if you're Bay State, why would you not just go into East? Is East really that strong? York, okay, maybe it is kind of strong. How many seeds does the East get? East gets 3. If you're Bay State, you should be able to finish 3rd there. But if you're Bay State, you should be able to just finish 1st in the other one. So I don't know. Whack. ESC is my fave. Why? Oh, Buffalo. I guess Buffalo. Is that Illinois State? Illinois State's in there? Is that Redhawks? Is that Illinois State? No, that's Miami. Miami? That's Miami, I think. Yeah, okay. Why is that your favorite? I don't understand. Besides Buffalo, this is remember, schools pay $10,000 a year to be in this conference. Fun fact. $10,000. Most expensive esports conference there is. Yep, $10K. $10K a year. This is the MAC, the Mid-Atlantic Conference. It's their esports conference. That's more than $9K. I know! They pay $10,000 a year. They don't auto get in if you're a MAC member. No, it's a separate. I think it's a separate setup organization. It's over $9K. The Mid-American Conference. Okay, sorry. There's so many freaking acronyms. I can't keep track. I live in Florida now. I'm on the Atlantic. We're just going to go with Atlantic. But Mid-American, okay. I was never a fan of those schools anyway, growing up. Sorry. I was a Big Ten guy. Sorry. East Coast. Someone's got to get into this conference. I think this is one where it's only traditional sports schools. We actually, the Peach Belt did a tournament with them last November. Just as a for fun thing. Peach Belt. Kennesaw State's going to be pretty decent. We played UNG last week, and they were pretty decent. This is not the ranks they actually are. This is garbage. Straight BS baloney. Big Ten more like dead 10. Heh heh heh. That's funny. Man. I'm interested to see, are they probably going to open up applications for the selection committee fairly soon? I'm definitely going to apply again. That was a really cool experience. I don't think we'll be a bubble team this year. We will next year. But I think I should still qualify to get on the selection committee. Maybe. I guess we kind of have to know if our team's going to make playoffs yet before we apply. You have no team. That's true. You'll pray to get in. I'm assuming they would put you in. I think there are very few people that know as much about CLOL as you. So I would be very surprised. But I mean, looking at some of these conferences, like these regional conferences, like I struggle to see a world where a team from a partner conference gets a bid in. I just don't see a world where that happens. Maybe my world's just wrong, but I mean, we just look at some of these, especially the North. Holy cow. If there's a world where the top 4 seeds are these 4 schools, I mean, SLU's going to have a word. Redbirds Esports going to have a word. There may be 1 to 2. You think ESC could get 2? But most likely you just send 7 North teams. Oh boy. I think you see a world where a South team gets that bid, or an East team. A South or an East team. What are we looking at? These have 3 bids. This has 2. East and South have 3. Yeah, there's definitely a world where an East team gets in. Potentially a South team. It's interesting. South has 5 teams, in my opinion. East has some as well. Yeah, I agree. Buffalo last year was an exception, and they almost didn't get voted in. It's true. That is true. Buffalo did well. West has only 3 teams, and 2 of them get in. Yeah, that's a hard sell. I'm excited about CLOL this year. I think it's going to be sweet. It's hard to say who would get an automatic bid before we even know who makes playoffs automatically, because that could screw some things up. UCI, ASU, Cal. Yeah, that is. I think UCR went pretty far. So did UCSD, although I don't think they made playoffs. Anyone know why Cal and ASU didn't join PAC-U? I don't know. And UCLA? I don't know. There might be a requirement for them to join the traditional athletic conference. And there's only 1 bid. That's true. Maybe they just had the decision to not fight for it. You have to pay as well. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I wonder what the pay is for that. PAC-U. It's a good question. Sweet. Well, I want to thank. We kind of wrapped up. We're a little past time, but I wanted to thank everyone for stopping by. We had a quick conversation about varsity-only leagues. Got some good perspectives. I think we kind of all land fairly in the same place on this. Just needed to talk it out a little bit more, and glad we got the opportunity to do so. I'll have the VOD clipped up, edited, and posted on YouTube either tomorrow or the next day. But I really appreciate everyone who stopped by. The follows, the Prime subs when they come in are really hugely appreciated. It keeps me motivated to keep doing this. Really enjoyed it. If you guys have any topics you want to discuss at some point or want me to discuss, let me know. Would love to lead those conversations. But as always, good luck this week. If you've got teams, if you're playing, good luck. Thank you for everything you guys do to create opportunities for students and to make this space better than it was yesterday or the day before. You guys are awesome, and I will talk to you all next week. Peace.